Okay, so this slide is about cash flow relationships. CFO is important because it is a cash metric and it shows cash which is generated from the operations. Businesses which are able to generate high cash from operations are able to sustain over a longer period of time, with all else things being equal. So here we will go through few ratios related to CFO. So the first one is cash flow from operations divided by EBIT. It shows efficiency and it also shows earning quality. CFO should be greater than EBIT for the firm to have a good earning quality. By earning quality, we mean persistence or the lesser proportion of accruals in the EBIT. So here in the Nestle's case, we notice that this number is going up over the years, which is a positive, and also it is consistently greater than 1, which is also a positive. So the next ratio which we are going to study is CFO divided by average total assets. It shows return on assets from a cash perspective. Like out of the total assets invested in the business, how much we are able to produce cash flow from operations each year. So here we notice a downward trend which is concerning. Next, we check the ratio of CFO to total reinvestment spending. So it shows whether the business could fund future growth. So here we have two items, which is capital expenditure and expenditure on intangible assets. Capital expenditure is the expenditure on tangible assets. So this is the total expenditure which the business is making in as reinvestment. So from this ratio, we see that it is steadily increasing. Also, this number is much more than one. So both these observations conclude that this ratio indicates positive trend, positive for company. Next is the ratio of cash flow from operations to total debt. It shows how much cash flow from operations cover the total debt of the firm. So here we notice in cash flow to total debt that the ratio is about 78%, about 80%. So about 80% of cash flow is generated per 100 rupees of debt, which is a positive. It shows good repaying capacity. Okay, so the next is cash flow from operations divided by interest coverage. It shows how much cash flow from operations. Okay, so the next is cash flow from operations divided by interest coverage. It shows how much cash flow from operations covers the total interest payments on debt. Okay, so in this ratio, we notice that it is steadily going up, plus it is also at a very healthy amount. So that is also a positive. It shows the business creates adequate cash flow from operations to pay off the interest. Okay, so what would be the key takeaways from the exam perspective? So I think these ratios are very easy to calculate as the ratios numerators and denominators are evident in the name itself. So you just need to remember that more of these ratios is better as operating cash flows is in the numerator. And also a rising trend would be good. And also if these are at a healthy amount compared to the denominator. Like if it's around 80% of debt, or it's covering the interest payment these number of times, or it is greater than the operating profit. That's it.